Yo, what's up? It's Jason inside Omni Labs out here in Sacramento, California. TheBayIsBack.com. We're here doing an exclusive interview with my dude. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody right now?
Bueno, man, the only king with the championship ring, the Mac Big, man. Yeah.
That's what's up. So why don't you let everyone know, you know what I'm saying, how you got started in the music game, and you know, and let them know the whole beginning part of your life.
Man, I got started. We basically, my dude. Long story short, my dude made it to the league. Shout out to Yogi Stewart, Michael Stewart. Probably about 2002. Shot us a little dough. You feel me? Instead of doing, you know, he's like, y'all can do whatever you want with it. He made it to the league in basketball, to the NBA. He was like, y'all can do whatever you want with it. You know, this nigga had $1 million contract, so we just basically I went and got business licenses, you know what I mean, and all the proper shit, you know what I mean. It was like, I want to do this music. That was after college, you know what I mean. I grew up in the hood, Meadowview, earlier part of my life, young kid, just trying to, you know, just like every normal kid, you know what I mean. Had my moms and pops. They wasn't married, but they was, you know, I lived with moms. Pops had a great impact on my life. You know what I mean? I grew up playing sports. Got a basketball scholarship. Once that was over, like I said, ended up going to college. My dude, you know, Yogi, threw me a little dough. Got the business license. Got the music cracking. By 2003, I had an album coming out, Change the Game.
That's hot.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so as far as, you know, what you were saying with the sports and stuff and getting a scholarship, how did the education, you know what I'm saying, help you out in the music with your career and whatnot? How does going to school and doing all that, you know, influence you now and everything like that?
It influenced me in life and music in general, just period. Just like teaching me different characteristics, different things that I would need in life to be successful.
Gotcha.
Teaching me leadership skills, teaching me discipline, self-discipline, self-esteem, self-confidence. You know, every time you get a certificate for spelling bee or something in class, you know, it teach you I can do anything.
Right.
You know, it will make you want to get more certificates. So, you know what I mean, just going to school, going to college, that was always a thing in my house, of course. I grew up in the hood. Shout out to all my dudes in the View, you know what I mean, South Sacramento, Meadowview, Corella Garden, low-income housing, like everybody in the hood, we came from rough homes and stuff like that, but me, I was lucky enough to have my mom. She wasn't on no drugs, she was on point, she was sending us to school, so by doing that, it instilled a lot of stuff in me, you know what I mean,
right.
A lot of positive qualities that I carry on today, you know what I mean.
Okay, so with that being said, you know, what, you know, helped you get through that with school and stuff, what, like, inspired you to start rapping, you know, like, what made you decide to make this a career? You know, you said you was hooping, right?
Yeah.
So let everyone know, like, how did that happen? You know, when you want to pretty much change what you was doing, because you didn't get the scholarship for rapping.
Yeah. And I got a scholarship for hooping. Now, what I did is basically, you know, as I was hooping, and it was coming to an end, you know what I mean? Scholarships is one thing, but, you know, the NBA and all that's another. So I ended up getting hurt, you know what I mean? I was kind of forced to stop playing. So I'm sitting in my dorm room for the whole year thinking, like, what am I going to do? You know what I mean? I'm like, man, I got to transition smooth. But, you know, growing up in the hood, we always loved entertainment, you know, music, movies, television, you know, different things, films. Clothing. So I was always thinking I want to do something I love, but at the same time I want to do something that I can really be successful and make, you know, have a good living, you know, make a good living there. And I knew music was another step. I always loved music. I always freestyle. We always played around, you know what I mean? It was, I had dudes making beats. Shout out to Goldfingers, my young cousin, you know what I mean? He, my relative, he was making beats, and he was just like, you know, he encouraged me to do the music, you know what I mean? So it just fell into it.
So, okay, with that being said now, you formed, you know, Noise Music Group. How'd that go about? You know, when you wanted to go ahead and start doing a different route now, you want to not just be the rapper, you know, you want to make it real. To make the business.
Nah, basically, like I said, I kind of did that from day one. Like, I'm blessed enough to have that type of mentality, you know what I mean? Like, I always was, like, a real...
But see, I mean, but you was freestyling before, you know what I'm saying?
But I was playing hoop.
You took it, so you said, I'm just going to start all the way from the big.
Yeah, well, I was freestyling and playing hoop. The day I was done hooping and started rapping, I went in and got business licenses. Right. You know what I mean? It was a business from day one. So, at the same time, I still had levels to go. You know, I didn't know everything. I didn't know hardly nothing. You know what I mean? I had to bump my head a million times. So, I just reached out to every dude that I knew in the music. And me playing sports and being successful in sports, I had a lot of friends that were successful people in other places. So I would call people that did music like G1. Shout out to G1, big producer, did all DJ Quick stuff. I would talk to him on the phone for hours on the end, and he would give me information. Rick Rock, shout out to Rick Rock. Him being in Sacramento, giving me information. Nucci, my big cousin Nucci, does major promotions and push distribution, got his own distribution company. These are dudes I just was sucking up info from, you know what I mean, the whole time. So now I kind of wanted to make it a business immediately. I did that to a point, you know, with the paperwork. But then, you know, I figured, you know, I had to come up with names. I had to come up with a movement and an idea, and I just kind of ran with that, you know. And it's just a progression.
Gotcha.
Kept learning.
Okay, so your first album, changed the game. You had artists like 40, Mac Dre,
of course,
Keith, Yuck. You got a bunch of artists on there. How did that was your first project? How did you get all these big name artists on your first project? Like, how did that just happen?
First off, R.I.P. to Mac Dre. It's my dude for life. That was kind of the business sense too. I had Cream 100. Shout out to Cream 100.
Shout out to Cream.
That's my best friend. You feel me? Been with me since like the 5th, 6th grade. You know what I mean? We was playing sports our whole life. But when I dived into this music, he dove into it too, you feel me? And there was a point where he was like, do it for yourself at first, and then he was like, oh, like, man, let me get totally involved in it. And by the time we got the whole company together, we was throwing our brains together, coming up with ideas and marketing plans and the way, just approaches to how we was going to do stuff. First project, we felt like we had to go get the top dudes to align me with the top dudes. So we just reached out. Shout out to Nucci. Shout out to my boy Kev Nash. Hold your head, boy. You'll be home in a minute. When I was doing all that, you know what I mean, we just was reaching out to different people, man. We had clothing stores downtown, you know what I mean? So we would see a bunch of different major artists. Mac Dre used to come in our clothing store. Hey, man, what y'all niggas do, man? What y'all niggas, man? I heard you used to hoop, nigga. I'm like, man, I want to get you on my project now. So we just try to align me with some of the top artists from our region to kind of showcase my abilities and kind of present me to the people at a high level of quality. And I just, it was all through relationships, man. Shout out to 40, Keith, Yuck Mouth, that's my nig to this day in this music shit, smoke a lot, so just shit like that, you know what I mean, and build some positive relationships since then.
Okay, so 4 years later, you dropped the Sacramento beat.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so like, what was the reason for the gap in between the two projects?
I'm gonna be honest, we didn't know the game. We was learning it. We used to think we had to push a project like Jay-Z, you feel me, for 2 years. And independence hit niggas quick. Bam, bam, bam. J Diggs and Mac Dre, they hollered at me a long time ago like, Cuddy. You know, our niggas from Vallejo, shout out to the 707, you feel me? Them niggas talking about Cuddy, all my Crest niggas. Hey, nigga, you gotta put out hella albums, you tight, but you can't just sit on that one. So what we did is, by the time we understood that, 2 years went by. We was in every city though. We was really putting our mark on things, but we didn't continue grinding, so it looked like we only had one project and had to put out another one. Then I immediately started putting out mixtapes, but they was for Sacramento. You know what I mean? They didn't get the regional push, and they wasn't in every city in the region, so it almost looked like I didn't do nothing. You know what I mean? And I, you know, coincidentally ended up, you know, coming out with a project 2007, and it's a big gap. You know what I mean? So. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen again.